All right, guys, we've got major updates regarding the transfer portal with brand new rankings released. But first, what a disgusting situation right now in the NCAA. This is what happens when there's no one there to enforce the rules. We have a cry for help. This is basically what that is, a literal cry for help from UTSA's head coach. How does UTSA football report Power 5 schools who are trying to poach our young talent? How much evidence do we really need to make this not be a part of our game? And guys, a lot of people are wondering what's going to happen. There is so much illegal activity that the NCAA is not doing anything about when it comes to NIL, when it comes to the booster cheating, and when it comes to poaching other players. I called it last year when I said USC blatantly cheated to get Jordan Addison, which I'm sure they did. Let's investigate that. No one will. But they blatantly cheated to get him, and we've got other teams just going crazy, trying to poach off the young talent of the smaller schools, or even just other schools in general. If the teams don't have the NIL up to par, your Miami, your Texas A&M, your any of these teams that have big NIL funds, you go to another school, tell a player, hey, listen, you want to make more money, come here. This is so disgusting and so sad, and really an absolute mess for college football. And it's like, at what point is enough when it comes to this blatant roster manipulation? There's no point. It's just like, the teams that are going to have the best recruiting, the best overall roster talent, they're just paying the most money. These kids are not going to where they're going to be developed the best. They're not going, in most cases, to where they have the best relationships. They're taking the most money, and certainly they should. There's no guarantee that you're going to go to the NFL. It's a sport that's very dangerous. You get injuries. You want to get that guaranteed money. But it's like, at what point we know what the obvious is happening? Everyone's cheating. So something needs to happen to where, I don't know if this head coach really, people were saying he should release the teams and the text messages from the teams and the coaches or whatever players are trying to poach their players, because normally how they do it is, let's say, and this is just an example, let's say Texas A&M is trying to poach someone from UTSA. They would normally have a player from Texas A&M that knows the UTSA player that they're trying to poach, because normally a lot of these guys know each other, especially if they're a really good talent that Texas A&M would want, or whatever school. And they would have them do it that way. Or maybe a position coach might contact them, a booster might contact them, something like that. The only way, you've got to make this public. This has got to come out. Say who's doing it, show proof, and unfortunately for this coach, if he wants a Power 5 job, this would probably ruin his chances at it. I know UTSA, they've been a very solid football program the last few years, so I'm sure he could be a legitimate candidate. But it is so sad what's going on, and it's such blatant cheating, and it's like we're really running in circles here with the NCAA and with college football. It's just all cheating. Like, when you get a commit, let's say, National Signing Day, whatever, you get a commit for 2024, it's totally useless. It's meaningless. The kid's just going to probably go to whoever offers him the most money. Following recruiting in college football is impossible. There's no point to doing it, because these kids will just decommit when someone offers them more. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying the grown-ups in the room have ruined this, and the NCAA has completely left this thing off the tracks. And unfortunately, this is actually partly due to ESPN's self-righteousness, because you guys remember before the whole NIL thing, my God, they were calling the NCAA the worst thing in the world, because how dare these kids only get a free education? They're not getting any money. Okay, now they're getting all the money and the sport is ruined. Congratulations, the sport's ruined. Way to go. Recruiting is ruined. Transfer portal, you're poaching everyone. We saw it last year. We're seeing it this year. We're seeing coaches now come out and be like, listen, this is crazy. This is not allowed. NIL booster cheating. You're not allowed to give kids money, but they're doing it anyways because none of them are going to get caught. It's gotten so bad to where I think almost like half of the schools are blatantly cheating with boosters. So what are you going to do? Bowl ban half the schools in Division 1? That's how bad it's gotten, guys. It's horrible. But you know what? We're going to move past it. We're going to look at the transfer portal rankings right now. There's a new updated batch to look at. And this is a separate set of rankings. I was looking at the other recruiting site. Now I'm on to this newer site that really, I like these rankings a little bit better, guys. So Travis Hunter enters the portal. And how about the crap surrounding Travis Hunter? So let me just give you my conspiracy theory on Travis Hunter. I think Travis Hunter is going to Colorado. Travis Hunter said in a Twitch video or whatever, he was like live streaming something. He said he was going to Colorado when it was publicly announced that Deion Sanders was going to Colorado. What I think is happening with all these other schools like Georgia, Miami, guys, this time of year, the ad revenue these sites generate off of article clicks, things like that is so good. I really think this is a lot of recruiting analysts really drumming this up and trying to use Travis Hunter's name as the former #1 overall recruit for page clicks. Unless it says Georgia has the best chance to get him, he already said he was going to Colorado. So until that changes, I really think this is mainly, because it's the holiday season, you get really good revenue when you play ads and things like that. Trust me. So that's what I think that is. I think he's going to Colorado. You can see Georgia, Miami. I'm sure they're going to make him offers, but I believe Travis Hunter signed a $3 million NIL deal, with Jackson State. I don't even know how those work, honestly, but I would expect Travis Hunter, who has been rated a 5-star 98 overall. They actually bumped him down a little bit because his true freshman season, I think there was a lot of injury. I think Travis Hunter needs to just play cornerback, but they've actually got him listed as a receiver, so who knows? And then Fentrell Cypress, currently projected to go to Ohio State. The Buckeyes could certainly use him. Really, really good shutdown cornerback. He was second team all ACC, I believe. You've got this offensive tackle here from Rhode Island, and you can see, so this kid announces tomorrow, and this could be huge for Ohio State or Tennessee. Everyone's saying right now it looks like it's going to be Ohio State. That would be a big pickup. Devin Leary, has he committed to Kentucky? I believe that's what that means. So maybe he did that. Yeah, apparently he did. He just did it. So that's a major get for Kentucky. And guys, I have to agree with people. They're like, no, it's a lateral move. I guess maybe you could say playing in the SEC is going to help his draft stock. But is going from NC State to Kentucky really an improvement? Maybe because you're going to the SEC. That's really all I could think about. Jennings, this kid was one of the best receivers for Old Dominion. He's going to Virginia Tech. That's a really good get for Virginia Tech. He is from Virginia, so he wants to stay home. This defensive lineman, I had no clue was this good, from Indiana, from Western Michigan. And how about this? FSU and USC, two of the top teams in terms of the transfer portal right now. They're in on this kid, who's been rated a 95. As a recruit, he was a low 3-star, so he's really had some good college years. This offensive tackle from UTEP, really nice get for FSU. They're doing a very good job filling needs in the portal. Love it. That's a tough loss for Missouri. He's a really good player right now at number 8. Brendan Armstrong at number 9. I just don't see Brendan Armstrong. I don't think he should be rated number 9. The kid just had too bad of a year. I'm sorry. I would rate him as a low 4-star, but number 9 is a little much. Another commit. We've got the tight end Bell, who is very highly thought of. He's headed to FSU. Singer, the wide receiver, that's a good get for Lincoln Riley. They're also going to have Mario Williams, who should really step up as well with the loss of Jordan Addison. He's expected to go to the NFL and be a first-round pick. McCullough, really good get for Oklahoma. He was a top 100 recruit, ends up going to Indiana to follow his father, who was coaching for Indiana. His father leaves, so does he. Andrew Armstrong, I believe that's Texas A&M Commerce. Yes, that is, because I know their logo from college basketball, and wow, they've got him rated at 13th overall. That's very impressive. Justin Wright going to Oklahoma State from Tulsa, so good get for them. We've got a linebacker going from Penn to... They've got a lot of interesting guys rated. This kid wasn't even rated in high school, and they think he's a really good player. I'm surprised you would be transferring from Penn University. You'd think you would want a degree. Maybe he got his degree already. Yeah, I think he's a senior, so he probably got it. This kid's been committed to, or he's going to Oklahoma, the defensive lineman. He's been committed for a while. Chris Marshall, the former 5-star, it's looking like TCU. They've got a 96% chance, it says. Spencer Sanders, I have to disagree with that. I don't think Spencer Sanders should be ranked that high. He did not have a good year, but he is currently undecided. Great. I think, guys, Grayson McCall is really overrated. And this is nothing against the kid. Coastal Carolina routinely plays one of the worst schedules in college football every single year. And Grayson McCall is decent, but there's been rumors that Grayson McCall is going to Auburn, and it's like, okay, I mean, I'm really not impressed. Denver Harris, the former 5-star, that's interesting because the other site has him rated 2nd overall. This site has him rated 20th. He is undecided right now. JoJo Early from Alabama. He was a top 100 player. He's going to TCU. So TCU really looking to add some significant receiving depth with this kid and possibly Chris Marshall. Dante Cephas looks like he's a lock to Penn State right now. That's a great get for Penn State. From Kent State, that kid's 6'1", going to be a nice target for Drew Aller there. Trey Harris, a receiver from Louisiana Tech, looks like probably going to Ole Miss in that Lane Kiffin offense, so that would be a good get for them. Andre Carter looks like a pass rusher. Possible. Ole Miss, guys, they were very active in the portal last year with Zach Evans, Jackson Dart. They're active again. They're leading for a number of guys. You've got an interior offensive lineman transferring from Purdue after Jeff Brom leaves, and he's going to UCLA there. DJ Uiagalelei, Fresno State. So certainly this is interesting because there's no way DJ goes to UCLA after they added a transfer quarterback from Kent State. Imagine if he goes to Fresno. I would love that. Let him go to Fresno State. Fresno State finished the year really strong. Thomas Gore, a defensive lineman from Georgia State, looks like he's going to Miami. They continue to utilize their NIL fund. Gavin Holmes going from Wake Forest possibly to Texas. So they're looking at landing a top player there. Just looking, this is an offensive tackle from Western Kentucky. Several of these guys are undecided. Malik Washington going to Virginia, transferring from Northwestern. I don't know who's advising that kid, but I would probably say, I mean, Virginia is trending really down right now, losing Brendan Armstrong and stuff. But I remember this cornerback from Texas A&M. He was a top 100 player. He's entering the portal. Mason Cobb, that was a really good get for USC. Very, very solid linebacker. They're trying to build up their defense. Interior offensive lineman from Stanford. Edge rusher. Yeah, so Michigan is really landing a lot. I will say this site, in terms of their ratings, this site hates Michigan. I mean, they do not have any Michigan players inside the top 36. The other site has like 4 players inside the top 20. So these rankings are all over the board. Aaron Anderson. Wow, they have Aaron Anderson rated that low? That surprises me. He was a really, really good recruit. He was like a top 50 player. And he was a true freshman. I would probably rank him a little bit higher than that, unless there was some really bad stuff that came out. So wow, FSU is really doing good. That's a good tight end. Morlock from, I think, like a Division II college shorter or something. But either way, guys, that's the top 50 according to this site. We'll see how it develops. There's certainly some big names in the portal. Just wanted to give an update. And guys, looking at recruiting, unfortunately, Alabama, once again, is just building an absolute Death Star. They're about to flip a 5-star offensive tackle. They're about to get 2 5-star defensive ends. They are ridiculous. Even in NIL, they've totally adapted to it, and they're doing very well. So, guys, we've got a mess right now. Teams poaching other players. There's no sort of direction in terms of the NCAA. You would think when you've got an entity like college football that brings in so much money, there would be some type of model to really police this, but there's nothing. What a horrible failure by the adults in the room to completely ruin college football and really have no plan for how NIL was going to be handled. And all of these SEC teams, and it's not just the SEC, it's also ACC teams. Teams that I think, like Michigan State, I'm sure is in on some of this stuff. Obviously, Miami, A&M, Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, USC, UCLA flipping Dante Moore. I wonder how much they paid him. It's just Oregon. The list goes on and on with these teams. So it is sad. It is out of control. And of course, it's so attractive to cheat because everyone else is cheating. They're not going to punish anyone. The only thing that they can do at this point is put into a standard rule and say, listen, we know everyone was cheating. Obviously, we can't punish everyone. So from this point on, we're going to enforce everything. You need to stop. And if you cheat from this point on, then you're going to get caught. You're going to face a bowl ban. You're going to face a suspension, something like that. But since everyone, it's so obvious that they're not going to be able to punish just one singular team, because if you punish Texas A&M, you also have to punish Miami. You also have to punish Georgia. You also have to punish Florida. It's every team. They can't do that. So these teams can just cheat and cheat and cheat, and there's no repercussions. It is an absolute mess. It's a horror show, and the adults in the room have failed college football, and they've completely ruined it, and there's no point in following recruiting, because really, when you get a commit, he's probably just going to decommit, honestly, depending. I've seen it so many times with certain commits where, look at Dante Moore. Think about how many Oregon fans celebrated Dante Moore committing back in the summer, and it's all for nothing. It's literally all for nothing. He goes to a rival. So either way, guys, that's going to do it for this update. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description.